Video games!
This E3 coverage is brought to you by Ting, mobile that makes sense. Hey guys, Nick and Tara here for Rev3 Games. We are in the lovely city of Los Angeles right now for the first day of E3. Technically it starts tomorrow, but all the press conferences are today.
Yep.
Microsoft just had theirs.
Yeah,
it started by Phil Spencer coming out and saying we are not going to be making any hardware announcements. We are focusing entirely on games, and they did. They covered over 20 of them.
They did. It felt like a lot too, and I think that's a pretty shrewd move considering how last year it kind of backfired on them, the amount of media stuff and they did on their Xbox One announcement even before E3.
Yeah, it makes sense. They launched the consoles last year, so it's all about games now. Some of the games we knew about already. They showed off Evolve.
They did.
With apparently a new Cthulhu monster
enemy. It looked like they showed two. There was some squat one and then this new Cthulhu-looking electric guy.
Yeah.
Which to me, that game is made or broken on the monster variety. I think that's what'll keep it from getting stale.
It is.
So
Assassin's Creed Unity, this was sort of our first big look at the game. I thought this was really interesting. It's set in the French Revolution. They showed a lot of scenes that sort of demonstrate the power of the Xbox One. The part where you go into the sort of wide open area and there are like hundreds of people
crowd
there.
shot, like they hide it behind some boxes, so when your guy climbs over the box, I'm like, oh, they're gonna do their crowd reveal, and then they did it, and there's like 100 people. The co-op too, right?
Yeah, the co-op. They announced co-op for this, 4-player co-op, so you could sort of form your own brotherhood. Really neat. They did a live demo of that. It looks awesome. And then they beheaded a guy at the end, which is how every demo should end. Yes.
This year.
The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, that is another game that we knew about already.
Another beheading.
Again, nothing really new that they showed off in this game aside from really pretty looking foliage.
Yeah, I was impressed by how pretty it was and by how it actually open it looked. It looked like legitimately like there was a pretty open area that you were hunting this griffin in.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that game. Another one is Tom Clancy's The Division. This game looks more and more awesome every single time I see it. Last time they showed off, everybody was freaking out about the door physics.
Yeah, and they had a sequel to the door closing with the taxi this time around.
Exactly, and now they have this really cool thing where you see the map, instead of going into like a select menu screen, you just see the map sort of implanted onto the floor. Also, like you can see little holographic images of people who like died in certain situations.
Really leaning into that semi-near future aesthetic.
Exactly, and then the futuristic New York City looks totally awesome.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of the games that they showed off, I think, are really demonstrating what a powerhouse the Xbox One is, and that was definitely one of them. Sunset Overdrive is another game that we have all been sort of freaking out, excited about.
Yeah, that trailer was interesting because it seemed like they were kind of tearing down every trailer that had come before it. Like they had cover-based shooter joke and like the military shooter thing. It sort
of started off looking like a really generic shooter, and I was like, what is this? And then I was like, oh, it's Sunset Overdrive. It looks, they've been talking about how fast-paced this game is. You actually said that you didn't
It was weird. The momentum didn't, I mean, it's because what was happening was clearly technically fast, like jumping up onto the roller coaster and stuff, but it didn't feel like it was moving quick. It didn't have like, you know, in Burnout games and stuff, there's that sense of speed. It didn't have that yet. Maybe that's something they're working on. But
I feel like it did feel fast, but again, I don't know if that's just something that happens when an expert is playing it, or if it's going to be like that when we play it. They did announce a 8-player Chaos Squad co-op, so that's cool. A lot of new games announced during this press conference as well.
Yeah, there were, Tara.
Rise of the Tomb Raider. I was not expecting this, actually. We got like a short trailer, didn't really tell us much of anything about the game, except that it's supposed to be coming out early 2015.
And that it's called Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is a kind of funny name.
Another one is Inside. This is from Playdead, the creators of Limbo, and this, I guess, is the new game that they've been working on for the past 4 years, and it looks incredible.
Right, I don't know why it didn't occur to me that we hadn't seen anything from them since Limbo, except for like an iOS port and stuff, but it looks gorgeous. There's something really striking about the visuals.
Yeah.
When that golf cart pulls up and swerves and everyone hops out and stares through the window, it's just like really chilling and strange.
It's got more of a creepy vibe, I think, than Limbo did.
Which is a big accomplishment.
Exactly. So that's supposed to be coming out in early 2015 as well. A couple other games that weren't announced new, Scalebound. This is from Platinum Games, creators of Bayonetta. It's about a guy who rides dragons.
And wears headphones. So wearing headphones while not listening to anything is very in 2014.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
And then this other game, which I think was probably one of my most favorable announcements that I had no idea was coming, was this game Ori and the Blind Forest.
Something about the water in that game just looks gorgeous. Like it just gave me chills.
Oh my gosh.
So cute.
I felt very emotionally attached to the little guy in the trailer. I still don't know what he is or where he comes from. But it's got a very unique art style. it seems like a very touching game.
Totally, and then they had Alex Rogopoulos come out for Dance Central Spotlight, I think it's called.
Yes.
Not Dance Central 4, apparently. They're not calling it that, but download-only Dance Central game for the new Kinect.
Yeah, and that is, I believe, supposed to be releasing alongside Fantasia Music Evolved sometime in September, so that's cool. Another one of the huge announcements was the Halo Master Chief Collection.
Probably the biggest announcement of the whole show. It had been rumored for a while that they were going to do a remake of every single Halo game and you could have them all on the Xbox One, but the fact that they're actually doing the multiplayer for every single game with over 100 maps running in the original game's engine at 1080p is, for someone who played those games growing up, is super exciting. Like, I want to play some Halo 2 multiplayer in the original engine right now. Like, that's thrilling to me.
It's pretty incredible also. It apparently all ships on one disc, so you just put it in and play. It also includes the beta for Halo 5, which they didn't actually show as much of as we thought we were going to see.
15-second CGI teaser for the multiplayer beta of a game that got delayed. So
I'm sure we'll see more of that in the coming months. And then they also announced Forza Horizon 2, which a lot of us saw coming.
Open world drive-atars.
Open world drive-atars, and jets. Apparently.
Overhead.
Yeah. So that's coming out September 30th. And then also they announced some new Dead Rising 3 DLC, which the name is way too long for me to actually recall it. But it just looks like a crazy balls-out arcade-style
with
Capcom.
4-player co-op, which I think is new to Dead Rising. So interesting stuff.
So that's really cool. And then a couple remakes.
What do you mean?
Which is probably your... Just talk about it, because I know
Okay, all right. So they announced a new Phantom Dust exactly like we said they would.
Yes.
It's a remake of the original Phantom Dust, which is interesting. If you look at Major Nelson's Twitter, he says that it's a remake/remastered version of the original Phantom Dust. We don't know exactly who's developing it. Ken Lobb is overseeing it. He's the guy who oversaw the Killer Instinct remake, which was a really successful free-to-play game on the Xbox One. So presumably they're doing a free-to-play remake of the original game, which is weird because the original game was very much a finished retail. Anyways, I could talk about it forever. CGI trailer. I don't know why they're making this game. I don't know that anyone other than me wants this game to exist, but thank you, I guess, Microsoft.
They watch our channel.
I guess. Thanks, Phil Spencer, for pulling this together at the last minute right before E3. I really appreciate it.
And then they also announced the Crackdown remake, which I'm sure you're not as excited about.
Well, I mean, everything that came out after the Phantom Dust part of the press conference, I just kind of zoned out for because I was pretty sure I was still laying in my hotel room asleep, so not convinced any of this is real yet. I'm probably dreaming.
Yeah. Well, they did devote a very tiny portion of the press conference to indie stuff.
Yeah.
None of it really got a huge show.
Sizzle reel montage. There's that one game, Cuphead, that has that very like early Disney art style that looks really interesting. There's a full trailer out there that you can go watch, but
yeah, all of the indie stuff that they showed, I mean, even like 3 or 4 second clips looked awesome.
Yeah.
What do you take away from this press conference?
I take away that I guess Microsoft is truly listening. I mean, they kind of have no choice but to listen. Their whole vibe of coming out and name dropping Microsoft and Sony at the beginning and saying like, underneath Hideki Kamiya, they said his favorite game was Link to the Past. Like their whole vibe right now seems to be, hey guys, we're all in this together. Let's make video games, which is kind of the vibe you have to adopt when you're losing.
Yeah.
But overall, I think it's awesome for consumers. Like everything about this felt like competition in the marketplace prevailing and having a ton of awesome stuff for us to choose from. Like they are fighting for every inch, and that's a good position for a hardware maker to be in.
I think it was the right call to focus entirely on games, although I am a little sad that we didn't hear any hardware announcements because those are always some of the most exciting parts.
Yeah, it's crazy how little Kinect we saw too.
There was no Kinect
other than Dance Central.
There was like one
nothing.
Indie game that used your body or something in Kinect, which looked cool. But like, as far as games go, I'm seeing a huge emphasis on co-op in games that previously did not have it, and multiplayer in general. I'm seeing better looking graphics than they showed off for games last year, even though they were still on the same system. It seems like they're sort of getting better at harnessing those graphics now.
Feels like it, yeah.
Because how many games do we see today that had like incredible foliage?
Right, so much foliage, so many huge crowd shots, so much dismemberment.
Yes.
I guess that's what next gen is.
A lot of dismemberment.
Grosser violence.
Yeah, there you go.
Welcome to the future.
So we have 4 more press conferences that we're going to recap for you guys today. So please stay tuned to our channel. We're also going to be at the show floor all week long. So we got a lot of stuff coming for you guys. Stay tuned.
Bye guys. Phantom Dust!
No.
Phantom Dust!
No.
I'm gonna go break into the show floor and play.
Are you sick of being bossed around by your cell phone carrier? Are you paying tons of money for data you don't even use? If so, then guys, it's time to switch to Ting. Ting is a revolutionary new cell phone service that puts the power back into your hands with complete and total transparency. With Ting, you only pay for the data and minutes you use, meaning there are no plans, no hidden charges, and no early termination fees. You know exactly what you're paying for, and you can leave whenever you want. Ting runs on the nationwide Sprint network, and there's a good chance it already works with your existing cell phone.
Their customer service is also top-notch, so no matter what time of day you call, you'll always be able to reach a live, actual person. Head over to rev3games.ting.com and click on their savings calculator to see how much money Ting can save you. That URL will also get you $25 off your first bill, and remember, every sign-up helps support Rev3 Games, so it's really a no-brainer.